assured, Ann, that you'll get the kind of information necessary that'll make good copy. Anyhow, I started and got interested in Star Trek like most people by watching the series, and I went to a convention and I loved it, and so I decided I would put on Star Trek conventions. We had a pretty good show in Chicago, and we hope to have a good show here. And
very emotional. You can't hear me? Okay, friendly fellow here who wants to do his job, and I guess we have to let him do his bona fide for the press who will go out and say nice things about Star Trek fans if you let him take some nice pictures. I'm sure it has been quite a surprise. In 1969, when the show was finished, I thought at that time that the pattern would be similar to that of other television series, and by that I mean that we would have a year or two of reruns, and then Star Trek would quietly fade away into the past, if that's possible for a futuristic show to do. But obviously, the pattern wasn't quite what I expected.
Could you please move away from this area?
Why do I feel a twinge when somebody says, what happened to your
Please move back and
ears?
take this area.
I have a spot. And why do I feel a wonderful warmth when I hear or read a compliment aimed at the Vulcan? Spot for president reads the bumper sticker on the car in front of me.
Are we finished? What? I don't know. I don't think of it in those terms.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? Well, I'm here for two very important reasons. One is it's obvious that there are going to be a lot of people here who would like to see me, and the rest of the actors and the people connected with the show.
We've been informed
These affairs have grown commercially to the point where it's possible for us to be paid. So we are paid for attending. I think those are two good enough reasons.
How do you explain?
How do you
How
explain?
much? Who asked that question? How much? How much do you make? I don't mean it's all silly, but I mean questions like that come from a silly ass Holmes. Anybody else have a question? Character. It is not a rejection of the character. It's an investigation of what it is like to be connected with this character and how it has affected my life, my feelings about it. And I think finally, the bottom line of it is that I have become relaxed about being connected with the character in the show. It's a part of my life, and that's the way it is. It has been very useful to me. It has created a lot of challenges for me and a lot of opportunities for me. Has given me a lot of work that I'm interested in doing. So I'm not negative about it at all, but because I'm not. The title is a statement of fact. If you read the book, you'll understand that. More Star Trek series. Doc has a first name. Mr. Well, Gene is writing a script. Gene Roddenberry is writing a script. His second one last year, which Paramount decided not to produce. They then authorized another, now asked Gene to write another script, which he's in the process of doing. If he writes a script which is acceptable to the studio, they will produce it.
that you all find asked.
Who's making the money off of this?
Well,
This whole Star Trek kick. Who's getting rich?
I wish it were just one person, and I wouldn't mind if it were me. However, it isn't. I would say that Paramount, through its licensing agreements, is making substantial profits. The reruns, after 6 reruns, the stars stop being paid. 10 reruns. The stars no longer are paid. The residuals, I guess there's a payment that normally is paid, and they don't get those anymore, but Paramount still, of course, makes profits. The toy manufacturers, All make money?
You?
Well, that would be hopeful that this would make money, yes. However, I'd like to point out that the cost for putting on this show will be equivalent to the production of one episode of Star Trek,
Which is?
approximately $200,000. Now, that is the basic cost. But we have to sell that much in tickets before we even start to make a profit. Now, if a lot of people attend, there's a good chance that we'll break even and we may even make a profit. But we're going at a cost of $200,000. So it isn't the case of bringing in people for $500 or $600 or $6,000 or $7,000 and then saying, oh, look at the great profits we'll make. I do this because I'm a fan, and I do hope to make a profit, yes. Are there any other questions? And have a good time.
Largest and most successful convention was the one put on in Chicago last summer, again by Lisa. That attracted something like 18,000 people, and I'm told that already for this one there are 10,000 people pre-registered, and the expectation is for 30,000 people to attend. So this is, I'm sure, going to be the topper of them all. Paramount, for a long time, has been making an enormous amount of money. As Lisa said, the residuals have stopped, but they've still been making a good deal on the syndication circuit that the series has been making. And one of the questions that's always asked is why hasn't Paramount and the other people involved in it revived the show? Well, obviously because there was money to be made, but that now has diminished considerably, and last longer. And so, thank you. So I think the best thing for me to do is to get on to some questions. If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. Yes. Well, Star Trek has been a mixed blessing to me, inasmuch as that it provided a certain amount of security for those years, and I have found myself, I was doing many different types of roles before Star Trek came along, and I have found somewhat of a casting problem. That's the thing I do resent about it, and it's kind of tough coming out of that mold, so to speak.
I thank you very much for getting up on a very cold, but what I find invigorating morning in my favorite city in all the world, and I've been in most of all the world. I never bore of coming back to New York. I lived here for a while.
Mr. McDivitt, what are you doing here?
I came to conduct some business in New York City and also to be a speaker at the Star Trek convention that they're having.
You take this whole Star Trek business seriously?
No, I really don't.
Why are you here?
Oh, I think that the people that are here are interested in space, and I think you have to be a little careful that you don't get so wrapped up in the fantasy of the fictional space that you lose sight of the fact that there really and truly is a space program, and it's a lot more difficult to do things in actuality sometimes than it is to just fictionalize it. I just want to sort of give the realistic approach to the thing.
What do you think keeps this Star Trek bandwagon rolling?
I don't know. I keep asking my children that, and they won't tell me.
Are they Trekkies?
Oh, I wouldn't say so. Not really. I think they're modern children, and they look at everything that comes on the TV tube.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Thank you.
All righty. Let's do it.
Good. The funniest episode that happened to me when I was filming one of the episodes, anything that was unusually funny, the only thing that I can think of that was unusually funny was my paycheck. If Spock is so old, what do you mean if? What? if I got this question right, if Vulcans are so old, Vulcans have a longer lifespan than who? Than yours. Oh, I see. Explain why the monkey...